Hi, in this video we're going to go over the definition of personal training. What does personal training mean? Well, we believe that everyone needs to have their own version of what that means, and to be a personal trainer, what does that mean? So if you think of some successful personal trainers, who do you think of? Anyone? What do you think of? Jack LaLanne? Well, the godfather of personal training, the godfather of fitness. Who do you think of? Well, think about who you think is the best personal trainer that you know, the most famous, the most successful personal trainer you know. And let's think about some characteristics that make them successful. What would that be? Well, one that we always think about is a good listener. Maybe you don't look at that directly, but you need to be a good listener because you need to hear what your client has to say. And then you need to act upon it. So you need to really think and be interactive with the client. What else? What else do you think is a good characteristic? How about an educator? How about someone who can convey a thought back and forth? I think that's really important as well. What else? How about being enthusiastic? Yeah, being excited, happy, enthusiastic about what you're doing. A motivator. Anything else? Well, I want you to think about that for a while, and if you get a chance, write down what are the characteristics of a good personal trainer to you. And I need you to live up to that, right? I want you to think about that all the time. Who's a good personal trainer? Why are they a good personal trainer? And what makes them a good personal trainer? And then think about the characteristics that have added up to make that person as good as they are. And then you want to try to emulate that. You want to try to see what's that special sauce that makes them so special, that gives you the ability that you could replicate that, duplicate that, and become just as good. So before we even delve a little more into the characteristics of a personal trainer, we should probably define it. What is personal training? What is it about? Who is it? How do you define it? So let's break it up into the smallest parts. When we look at the word personal, what does that mean? Personal means what? One-on-one or small groups. Okay, so one-on-one, small group, personal, very small. We're going to look at training. What does training mean? In the definition, it's defined as to systematically challenge oneself to become more efficient. Let's think about that for a second. To systematically challenge oneself to become more efficient. So if we look at personal training, it's to do what? To systematically challenge not oneself, but challenge one or others, small group, to become more efficient. More efficient at what? Well, this is where we differ. Now, to us at NCEP, our goal is to make you more efficient at real life, to more efficient at the things that you need to do in a daily basis. But so many other training programs don't look at what you do in a daily life. What do they look at? They look at body parts. Let's train you to be more efficient at what? At a bicep. This is ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that we don't all want little biceps to walk around the beach and do all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't help us in real life, except maybe the way we look a little bit, okay? So what we want to focus on is what we really do. There are 7 primary movements that all human bodies do. It's a push, a pull, a bend, a twist, squat, a lunge, and gait. Gait is ambulation, or getting from point A to point B. And there are 3 ways to ambulate or move from point A to point B. You can either walk, jog, or run. So those are what we call our 7 primary movements. So our entire concept of personal training is to get you better at those 7 movements. Now, when you think about those 7 movements, although you think, oh wow, that's only 7 movements in the whole world, isn't that going to get a little boring? Yes, but each one of those movements have multiple, infinite variations of those movements. So the idea is to train one movement in one plane, in one type, and then get better and better at it. And once you get proficient at that, then we're going to change the stimulus so that you can get better at a little slightly different. And that way we work and work to get you what? More functional. Function is the term that we use over and over and over again ad nauseum, because you need to understand we train for function. Now, we're one of the only groups around that even talk about functional training or talk about getting someone better for real life versus just working on their body parts.